English Daily, the podcast.
Your English journey starts now. Hey, English learners. Welcome back to your podcast, the English Daily Podcast.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here today.
Today's episode is all about professional English for AI integration, specifically how to explain your new workflow at work.
That's right, and we're going to make it really practical for you, especially if you're working in a company that's recently adopted AI tools.
So, whether you're a beginner or already speaking well, you'll find something useful here. We'll teach you the exact phrases and vocabulary you need.
Let's dive right in.
Jack, let's start by talking about the very first step. How do you actually introduce the idea of AI integration to your team or manager?
That's a great question, Anna. I think the key is to start with the benefits, not the technology itself. People get nervous when they hear AI because they think it might replace them.
Oh, that's so true. I've seen that fear in colleagues before. What specific phrases would you recommend for someone who wants to present AI integration positively?
Well, one phrase I love is, since we started AI integration, our workflow has become much quicker. It's simple, it's positive, and it focuses on efficiency rather than replacement.
I love that. It's such a reassuring statement. And I guess you could also say something like, AI is helping us automate the repetitive tasks so we can focus on more creative work.
Exactly. That's a great alternative. Another phrase might be, we've implemented AI tools to streamline our process. See, streamline is such a professional word there.
What about if someone is resistant to the change? How do you address their concerns in a professional way?
That's a really important scenario. I'd say something like, I understand your concerns, but let me show you how this will make your daily tasks easier. Acknowledge the concern first, then offer a solution.
Right. And you could also say the AI assists us rather than replacing us. That's a crucial distinction to make.
Yes. And if you're presenting to leadership, you might say, our competitors are already using AI, and adopting these tools will keep us competitive in the market. That resonates with business goals.
Definitely. I remember when my team first introduced AI, we said something like, we're rolling out AI-assisted features starting next month. Rolling out is such a common corporate phrase.
It really is. And you know what? People often forget to mention the learning curve. Maybe something like, we'll provide training sessions to ensure everyone feels comfortable with the new tools.
That's so important. Nobody wants to feel left behind. What about when you're explaining the actual changes to your day-to-day work?
Then you'd say something like, my workflow now includes AI-assisted drafting, which saves about 2 hours per day. Numbers really help make the case.
Absolutely. And you could follow up with, this allows me to allocate more time to strategic planning. See, you're showing how you're adding more value, not just working faster.
Yes, I think that's the key message. AI makes us more valuable, not obsolete. Any other scenarios you can think of?
What about when you're describing the transition period? Like, how do you explain that things might be different for a while?
Good point. I'd say something like, there will be an adjustment period as we integrate these new tools into our workflow. That sets realistic expectations.
And maybe add, but the long-term benefits will definitely outweigh the short-term learning curve. That's such a professional way to address temporary challenges.
Absolutely. Another phrase could be, we're currently in the pilot phase of AI implementation. Pilot phase sounds temporary and manageable.
I love that. It makes the whole thing sound more approachable. Well, I think our listeners now have some great phrases for introducing AI to their teams. Now, let's get into the meat of the episode, Jack. I think it's really important to distinguish between tasks that are AI-assisted versus tasks that still require human oversight. What's your approach?
This is where a lot of people struggle, Anna. They either go too far and say AI does everything, or they don't explain the collaboration clearly. The sweet spot is saying something like, I use AI to generate first drafts, but I always review and edit the content myself.
That's perfect, and it shows that you're still in control. What other phrases work well for this distinction?
Well, one that I use a lot is AI handles the data gathering while I focus on the analysis and insights. It's a clear division of labor.
What about when you're describing a task that's partially automated? Like maybe the AI does the initial sorting or categorization.
Then you'd say something like, the AI categorizes the incoming requests and I handle the ones that need human judgment. See, human judgment is a key phrase there.
Right. And you could also say AI flags potential issues, but the final decision is always made by a human. That's so important for compliance and quality assurance.
Yes, and for those in creative fields, maybe something like AI provides initial concepts, but I refine them to match our brand voice. That shows AI as a creative partner.
I really like that. What about in customer service contexts? How would you describe AI chatbot interactions?
Great question. You might say, our AI chatbot handles initial customer inquiries and routes complex issues to our team. That explains the triage system clearly.
And what if you're explaining this to someone who's worried about job security? How do you phrase it sensitively?
You'd want to emphasize collaboration. Something like AI and humans working together produces better results than either alone. Or, my role has evolved from doing repetitive tasks to managing AI outputs.
That's such an important distinction. And maybe add, I'm still the one making the important decisions. That reassurance matters.
Definitely. Another phrase could be, the AI augments my capabilities rather than replacing them. Augments is a great professional word there.
What about when you're describing the quality difference? Like, how do you explain that AI-assisted work is actually better?
You could say something like, with AI assistance, we've reduced errors by 40%. Numbers again, they're so persuasive.
Oh, that's powerful. And you could follow up with, this means I can focus on higher value work that requires human creativity.
Exactly. Or maybe, the AI ensures consistency across all our outputs, which was hard to maintain before. That's a real benefit.
I think another important aspect is explaining what AI can't do. What phrases would you recommend for that?
Good point. You might say, AI lacks the nuanced understanding of context that humans provide, or emotional intelligence and empathy remain human strengths.
Those are great. And perhaps complex problem solving still requires human oversight. That balances honesty with optimism.
Yes, I think being honest about limitations actually builds trust. Nobody wants to overpromise on AI capabilities.
Absolutely. Well, I think our listeners now have a fantastic vocabulary for describing this human AI collaboration. Now, let's talk about a different scenario, explaining workflow changes to stakeholders like clients or upper management. What makes this different, Jack?
Well, Anna, with stakeholders, you need to focus more on business outcomes and ROI. They're less interested in the day-to-day details and more interested in the impact.
So, what phrases would be most effective in that context?
One that works really well is, since we started AI integration, our workflow has become much quicker. We've reduced turnaround time by 60%. See, you combine the hook with concrete data.
That's brilliant. It immediately shows value. What other business-focused phrases would you recommend?
Maybe something like, the AI implementation has resulted in significant cost savings. Stakeholders love hearing about cost savings.
And what about when you're describing the process improvements specifically?
You'd say things like, we've optimized our workflow through AI automation, or the new process allows for faster decision-making.
I also like, this change has improved our operational efficiency dramatically. That's such a corporate phrase.
Yes, and for client-facing explanations, you might say, "We've enhanced our service delivery with AI-powered tools." It sounds so professional.
Curious. What about when you're explaining what changed specifically, like the before and after?
Then you'd say something like, "Previously, this process took 3 days. Now, with AI assistance, it takes just 4 hours." That's a powerful comparison.
Oh, that's so vivid. People really understand when you give specific time savings. What about quality improvements?
Maybe something like, "Not only is it faster, but the accuracy has improved as well. Quality and speed. That's the dream."
And what if you're presenting to someone who's skeptical about AI? How do you address that?
You'd want to show measured results. Something like, "We've seen positive outcomes in our pilot program, and we're planning a full rollout." It shows evidence-based thinking.
I love that. And maybe add, we're taking a cautious, phased approach to ensure quality. That addresses risk concerns.
Exactly. Another phrase could be, "We've implemented robust oversight mechanisms to maintain quality standards." That reassures stakeholders.
What about when you're describing the team impact? Like, how have roles changed?
You'd say something like, "Our team has upskilled to work alongside AI tools, taking on more strategic responsibilities." That sounds positive.
And maybe employees are now freed from mundane tasks to focus on creative problem solving. That's such an appealing vision.
Yes, or "We've redeployed staff to higher value activities." Another business-friendly phrase.
What about future plans? How do you describe what's coming next?
You might say, "We're exploring additional AI use cases for next quarter," or "Phase 2 of our AI integration will focus on predictive analytics."
Those are great forward-looking phrases. I think our listeners will find this section so useful for their professional communications. Let's switch gears now and talk about training others on AI tools. This is something many professionals are now responsible for, right, Jack?
Absolutely, Anna. Whether you're IT or just an early adopter, you might need to train your colleagues. What phrases would be most helpful there?
I think starting with reassurance is key. Something like, don't worry, the AI is designed to be user-friendly, and we'll go through it together.
Yes, and maybe add, "The learning curve is much shorter than you might expect." That reduces anxiety.
What about when you're describing what the training will cover?
You'd say things like, "This session will walk you through the basic functions of our new AI tool," or "We'll start with the most common use cases."
I also like, we'll provide hands-on practice so you can learn by doing. That's so encouraging.
Yes, and for ongoing support, maybe something like, "There will be refresher sessions and a help desk available for questions."
What about when someone asks, how long will it take me to learn this?
You'd say something like, "Most people become comfortable within the first week," or "You'll be productive from day one, with more advanced features coming later."
That's great because it sets realistic expectations. What about when you're explaining the benefits to the trainees?
You'd say things like, "Once you master this, you'll save about an hour every day," or "This tool will make your reports much more efficient."
And what if someone is really struggling? How do you encourage them?
You'd want to be patient. Something like, "It's completely normal to have questions at first. We're all learning together." Or, "Take your time, there's no rush."
That's so important. What about when you're describing the resources available?
You might say, "We have video tutorials, a written guide, and live support available." Or, "The AI tool itself has built-in help features."
And what about when you're explaining best practices? Like, how do you use the tool effectively?
You'd say things like, "Start with simple tasks to build your confidence," or "Review the AI outputs carefully before finalizing them."
I also like, think of AI as a starting point, not the final product. That's a great mindset to encourage.
Yes, and maybe add, "The more you use it, the better you'll understand its strengths and limitations."
What about when you're describing what not to do, the limitations?
You'd say something like, don't rely on AI for sensitive or confidential information, or always verify factual claims before sharing AI-generated content.
That's crucial advice. I think our listeners now have a comprehensive toolkit for training others on AI tools. Let's be honest, Jack. AI integration isn't always smooth sailing. What about when things go wrong or when you're discussing challenges?
You're right, Anna. Being honest about challenges actually builds credibility. One phrase might be, we've encountered some integration issues, but we're working through them.
That's a balanced approach. What other phrases work well for discussing problems?
Maybe something like, there was a learning curve at the beginning, but the team has adapted well. It acknowledges difficulty while staying positive.
What about when you're describing specific technical challenges?
You'd say things like, we had some initial data compatibility issues to resolve, or the AI needed some fine-tuning to match our specific requirements.
Those sound professional without being too technical. What about when you're explaining how you solved problems?
You'd say things like, we've implemented additional quality control checks, or we've adjusted our workflow to address the initial concerns.
What if the challenge is more about user adoption or resistance?
Then you'd say things like, some team members needed more time to adapt, so we extended the training period, or we addressed concerns through additional support sessions.
I really appreciate that approach. It's empathetic. What about when you're describing ongoing improvements?
You'd say things like, we're continuously refining our AI processes based on user feedback, or we're in an ongoing optimization phase.
And what about when you're managing expectations for the future?
Maybe something like, not every process is suitable for AI, so we're being selective about where we apply it. That's realistic.
I also like, we're focusing on high-impact areas first before expanding. That's a smart strategy.
Yes, and maybe add, the long-term vision is fully integrated AI assistance across all departments.
What about when you're describing unexpected benefits, the happy surprises?
Oh, that's a fun one. You'd say things like, we actually discovered additional use cases we hadn't originally planned for, or the AI surprised us with its effectiveness in areas we didn't expect.
That's so positive. And maybe we've seen productivity gains beyond our initial projections.
Yes, I think it's important to share both challenges and successes to give a realistic picture.
Absolutely. I think our listeners will appreciate this honest look at the integration process. Now, let's talk about something really important for our listeners' careers, how to position themselves for the future in an AI-enhanced workplace.
This is crucial, Anna. The workplace is evolving rapidly, and professionals need to adapt. What phrases would help someone discuss their AI readiness?
I'd start with something like, I've been proactively learning AI tools to enhance my productivity. That shows initiative.
Yes, and maybe add, I'm continuously upskilling in AI-related areas. Or, I've completed several courses on AI integration.
What about when you're describing your value proposition in an AI-enhanced role?
You'd say things like, my role combines technical AI knowledge with human expertise in decision-making, or I bring both analytical skills and AI proficiency to the table.
I also like, I'm experienced at collaborating with AI tools to deliver high-quality results. That's so relevant nowadays.
Yes, and maybe add, I understand how to effectively direct and review AI-generated work.
What about when you're discussing career development or looking for promotions?
You'd say something like, my AI skills have enabled me to take on more strategic responsibilities, or I've demonstrated the ability to lead AI implementation projects.
That's powerful. What about when you're networking or interviewing?
Maybe something like, I've successfully integrated AI tools into my previous role, resulting in measurable improvements. That tells a story.
And what phrases would you recommend for describing your adaptability?
You'd say things like, I'm quick to adapt to new technologies and workflows, or I embrace continuous learning and professional development.
Those are such strong phrases. What about when you're describing your understanding of AI limitations?
That's smart. You'd say something like, I understand where human judgment is essential and where AI can assist. Or, I know how to balance AI efficiency with human creativity.
That's such an important distinction. What about when you're looking to mentor others?
You'd say things like, I'm passionate about helping others transition to AI-enhanced workflows, or I enjoy sharing best practices for AI tool utilization.
And what about when you're discussing your vision for the future?
Maybe something like, I see myself as a bridge between technical AI capabilities and business implementation. That's such a valuable role.
I love that. Or perhaps, I'm excited about contributing to an organization that's forward-thinking in its AI adoption.
Yes, I think our listeners now have an amazing career-focused vocabulary to work with.
Now, let's break down some of the key vocabulary from today's episode. Jack, let's start with some of the phrases we covered.
Sounds great, Anna. Let's start with workflow. This means the sequence of processes or tasks in your work. Example, since we started AI integration, our workflow has become much quicker.
Next is AI integration, combining artificial intelligence tools into existing systems. Example, we've completed the AI integration across all departments.
Streamline means to make a process more efficient. Example, AI helps us streamline our reporting process.
Automate means to use technology to perform tasks automatically. Example, we use AI to automate data entry tasks.
First draft is the initial version of content before editing. Example, AI generates first drafts, which I then refine.
Human oversight means human supervision or control. Example, there's always human oversight in our AI processes.
Upskill means to learn new skills. Example, our team has upskilled to work with AI tools.
Redeploy means to assign someone to a different role or task. Example, staff have been redeployed to strategic projects.
Fine-tuning means making small adjustments for better performance. Example, the AI model required some fine-tuning.
Quality control means checking for errors or issues. Example, we've implemented quality control checks for AI outputs.
User adoption means how quickly people start using a new tool. Example, user adoption has exceeded our expectations.
Learning curve means the time it takes to learn something new. Example, the learning curve for this tool is quite short.
Pilot program means a small-scale test of something new. Example, we're running a pilot program for the new AI tool.
Return on investment means the profit or benefit from an investment. Example, we've seen a strong return on our AI investment.
Hands-on practice means learning by actually doing something. Example, the training includes hands-on practice with the AI tool. Productivity gains means improvements in how much work gets done. Example, we've seen significant productivity gains.
Predictive analytics means using data to predict future outcomes. Example, Phase 2 will focus on predictive analytics.
Robust means strong or reliable. Example, we've implemented robust security measures.
Fine-tuning we've already covered, but it's so important we mentioned it twice. Example, the prompts require fine-tuning for best results.
Measured approach means a careful, considered way of doing things. Example, we're taking a measured approach to AI adoption.
Proactively means taking initiative rather than waiting. Example, I've been proactively learning AI skills.
Now let's reflect on what we've learned today. Here are some questions for you to think about or discuss with friends.
First question, how would you describe your current workflow to someone who hasn't seen it since you started using AI tools?
Second, what specific AI tools have you integrated into your work and how would you explain their benefits to a colleague?
Third, When talking to someone worried about AI replacing jobs, what reassurances would you give them?
Fourth, how do you currently divide tasks between yourself and AI tools? What works well and what doesn't?
Fifth, if you had to explain your AI workflow to upper management, which phrases from today's episode would you use?
Sixth, what challenges have you faced in your AI integration journey and how would you describe the solutions?
Seventh, what AI skills would you like to develop in the next 6 months, and how would you describe this learning goal?
Eighth, how would you describe the difference between AI-assisted work and fully automated processes to someone unfamiliar with the concept?
Ninth, what phrases could you use to train a colleague who is new to AI tools?
10th, how do you see your role evolving in the next few years as AI continues to develop?
Well, that's it for today's episode, everyone. We covered so much today, from introducing AI at work to describing your new workflow, from training others to future-proofing your career.
Yes, and remember the key phrase to start with is, since we started AI integration, our workflow has become much quicker. Use it with confidence.
Keep practicing these phrases in your daily work conversations. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
And don't forget to think about our reflection questions. They're great for practice or discussion with colleagues.
We hope you found this episode useful. Remember, AI is here to help us, not replace us. Embrace it, learn it, and make it work for you.
Thanks for listening to the English Daily Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Your learning journey doesn't stop here. Keep improving your English. Click the next video or explore more episodes we've picked just for you. See you in the next lesson.